fixing backs and dropping facts.
That's right, son. You're so good, man. You're so good.
Too easy, man.
I know,
Too
right?
easy. Hello, world. My name is Kai Blake.
And I'm Tom Larson.
And we are the boys
of
Bass, coming at you like Kamikaze, fixing backs and dropping facts. And we are now on episode
9, bro.
The big 4-5.
We're about to hit double digits,
the
man.
big 4-5, baby. So today, what are we talking about, Tommy?
We're talking about implementing this rehab process, and we're kind of working from head to toe.
Head to toe.
Last week we talked about necks and upper backs.
Yeah.
This week we're going to talk about shoulders.
Big shoulders.
How do we implement the process on the shoulder?
Right, shoulders. So same thing, kind of similar to what we do for our necks and backs, right? Is caused by a continuation or habitual bad posture, right? And so if you think about it, when people are forward, when we were talking about how with the neck and stuff, your shoulders are forward. If I'm going like this and I'm trying to reach overhead, my shoulders like this, I'm not going to get too far, right? My lats are all tight, my pecs are all tight. They're not going to allow for the expansion of shoulder flexion. Pushing those shoulders back, standing up straight, getting up that allows for a lot of that mobility to increase, you know? And so it's always usually caused by, sometimes it could be weakness. Sometimes it can be by capsular inhibition. So when the capsule is a little bit too tight or whatever. But a lot of it, like I said, shoulders are probably one of the most, between shoulders and backs, low backs. I think it's probably one of the most common things we get in here regarding to in the therapy. And then, like I said, probably a really good implemental thing to put into your everyday rehab.
Yeah, shoulders are very complex.
Yeah.
They're very, very complex. There are so many things that tie into a shoulder that can screw up a shoulder, all the way down to a hip on the opposite side.
Yeah.
You have shoulder issues, you might have a hip issue on the opposite side.
Left hip, right shoulder.
Exactly. So there's these cross patterns. Mechanically, a shoulder moves more than any other joint in all these different directions.
Yeah.
There's so many little tie-ins, so many joints that can influence it. I mean, we look really at 4 cardinal joints of a shoulder. This joint in the front here, this SC joint, sternoclavicular joint. Yeah. You got an AC joint, a acromioclavicular joint. You got the ball and socket joint. Then you got the way the shoulder blade articulates on the ribs, right? Your 4 classic joints of the shoulder. But really, if you start looking at all the things that really can affect the shoulder, you start looking at all from the cervical spine, where the trap comes in, upper trap, all the joints along the spine, the rib articulation on the vertebrae. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that can really affect the shoulder. And I think your description here and where your analogies are here, you start talking about alignment. Right. And really, the big thing for a shoulder not working well is the rotator cuff. The job, stabilize the ball in the center of socket as I go through motion. Right. The problem is that the platform's unstable, i.e. the shoulder blade. Right. When we have these rounded shoulders, forward head posture, that shoulder blade is not in a very stable position. Correct. The analogy I give people, it's like, hey Kai, when you walk on the white soft beach sand over in Pensacola, from where you can go over that play over there, right? Panama City, right? It's much harder to walk on white soft beach sand than a sidewalk. Oh yeah, very much so. You don't weigh anymore on beach sand than a sidewalk. The problem is the platform's unstable. Common denominator, the foundation. Absolutely. So if my rotator cuffs, which are very small muscles, 4 very small muscles, they have to keep the ball in the center socket as they go through motion. These big muscles are trying to pull it out of the center socket, along with this long lever on it, creates a lot of torque on that. It's virtually impossible for them to do that. Right. So then your brain's going to reach overhead. I got to still function. Right. I'm trying to create stability. I'm reaching overhead. I might cause an impingement of the rotator cuff, a bursitis, a tendonitis issue. I might cause that, but I'm okay with that because my objective is survive and reach overhead. Yeah. So it's really about just getting that platform stable. Once you stabilize the platform,
and back to what we always say, that path, since you've seen somebody with a bump shoulder and they're trying to reach up, you're going to find a way to compensate around it, whether it's to flex your trunk and do all that kind of stuff. But a lot of it will depend on what your body sees fit to get to that, whatever that destination you want that arm to get to. So a lot of it will be a lot of mobility, a lot of same thing going through our same process, our step process, mobility, and then strengthen and stabilize that neuromuscular reeducation of the tissue.
Well, the problem is too is when we start massaging, right? So we'll use our lacrosse balls. It's very similar to what we do with the neck and shoulders, or the neck and the upper back, because it's all tied in together, right? It's just, where is that patient's pain manifesting? Basically, we see the same stuff in just about everybody. It's just, where is that patient's pain manifesting itself? Is it their shoulder? Is it their elbow? Is it their upper back, their neck? Where is it? Their low back? It might be the same stuff. It's just where they're causing a problem. But we have to massage these tissues out first, right? Then here's a big thing. This is why I ask patients all the time. We have prime mover muscles in general. We have stabilizer muscles in general. And some prime movers also help stabilize a little bit, like a lat. But if I ask them, can you flex your bicep? Cat, can you flex your bicep? Ooh, sun's out, guns out. That big prime mover, you know how to use it. Right. And I ask those same patients, you've heard of the rotator cuff. stabilizer group, right? And I say, okay, well, I need you to flex the subscapularis of your rotator cuff. They look at me like, wait, what?
Like, where is that?
The problem is we don't know how to use stabilizers, right? And my brain's set up for survival, reach overhead, energy fit, lots of stability, stability at all costs. And we don't know how to use a stabilizer. So my brain circumvents this issue that I have a weak platform or an unstable platform. My rotator cuff can't do its job. I'm going to start tightening them up, or I might tighten my trap up. I might tighten my pec up. I'm going to create stability in order to reach overhead.
Right. And
I might cause a problem, but your brain is okay with a tendonitis, bursitis issue in order to survive. Get the heck out of there.
Go through it. And like you said, the humerus, man, it's like, just think of a perfect, I always like to think of your humerus as like just in this perfect circle, right?
Humerus is what?
The humerus is like the perfect, like in this.
But what is the humerus?
Oh yeah, exactly. Okay, my shoulder, right? The shoulder ball. I know, right? My ball is right. It sits right in the middle of this capsule, right? And so, like these stabilizers, they all want to have their control over it, where it pulls and everything like that. But then you have these big movies that are throwing it off your pec, your lat, your delt. All these muscles are throwing it off, and as soon as one gets more control over it, it takes control, and all the other muscles, they all send out their red flags to let you know, hey, we don't have the control. We do not like that. So we're going to send out all the red flags to warn you, hey, we're not sitting. And then we're going to start cutting off motion. It's limiting motion because we don't have the strength to combat these huge muscle movers. So,
man, you're such an amazing compensatory machine, man.
Man.
Just constantly get around and find an issue, find a way around it, right?
That's for sure.
Find a way around it. So with the shoulders, just like we do with our neck, we're going to massage tissues first. We're going to mobilize joints too, and a lot of times we'll mobilize thoracic spine and the glenohumeral joint, like the ball and socket joint, because a lot of times they get stiff in that socket. Mostly, I find that it's mostly stiff in the posterior part of the backside of the capsule, right? So we got to really mobilize that to get that ball sitting better in the center socket. But a lot of times it's not sitting perfectly centered, right? So you're already starting off with mechanical disadvantage like that. So we got to get that ball to sit back in the socket. Then once we've massaged those tissues out, we got those joints moving where they're supposed to be. Then we activate our stabilizers, right? So we use what Major League Baseball uses, because if it's good for their rotator cuff, it's probably good for mine and yours too. Right. So we activate our stabilizers, then we update the computer. Okay, brain, hold that shoulder there. These rotator cuffs know what they're supposed to do. Now use those rotator cuffs, these muscles, the way they're supposed to do when I'm reaching, pressing, pushing, pulling, carrying.
Yeah, and improving that awareness. Just knowing that awareness, man. That's the biggest thing. Is just
you
have to realize that it's a problem for it to be a problem. So
and you got to be very careful, because a lot of times it's the things that we do in life that gives us trouble, because we can do all the awesome therapy in the world. Me personally, I like to sleep on my left side. My left shoulder gets forward a lot, right? And I got to be aware that when I work out, I don't want to have this, right? Because I can cause a problem. And I'm very aware that, dang, I sleep on the left side, so I got to constantly keep pulling that shoulder back, right? So we can do all the awesome therapy in the world, but if these people go back in the computer like this, and have this, you play the way you practice.
Exactly.
So if I'm practicing this for 6 or 8 hours a day at the computer, I can't go out to my sport and go, oh, my shoulder's gonna be in an awesome position. It just doesn't do that way.
It's not normal for you, right? So you're only here for an hour in your therapy, but the other 23 hours is what you do to it, and that's the one that's going to probably get more of a cemented of your everyday lifestyle.
So to avoid shoulder issues, good posture. Practice the process of massaging, activating, updating. I'll tell you one other thing, one other little tidbit. I know we're running pretty late here on the show, but hanging from a bar.
Oh man.
Opening up that shoulder joint. Gosh. Boy, I tell you what, that was an orthopedic surgeon. I can't remember exactly his name, but he wrote a book about best rehab you can do for a shoulder, hanging from a bar.
What was the name of the book? Was it Supplement? Was that Supplement?
No.
What was it?
I can't remember.